Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about Nihanchi. The Nihanchi series crosses stances as you cross going one way, cross going the other. There are different katas that have stances that cross in. Nahase-san steps across. So you'll see the cross stance in various forms as well. Nihanchi or Teiki, some systems call it the Teiki katas, is unique in the fact that it goes side to side. I want to talk a little bit about some of the ideas that other may have with this. I've heard that they were using it for fighting up against walls, and in previous videos we talked about how in the homes of the Orient they had different sliding rice paper walls, rice paper doors. So fighting against something like that, if someone was to go to shove you or go violently, you would actually go through that. Could you use it to fight against a wall? Possibly. I look at it in more realistic terms of today's time versus back then, to where if I'm out in the open, somebody goes to move, I'm not going to fight linear. I want to fight three-dimensional. We live in a three-dimensional world, so I want to fight three-dimensional. And I want to touch base a little bit more on that. Same thing as I've heard stepping across, up and out, that they were fighting in rice fields. If you think about it like this, a lot of times rice fields were flooded, so fighting in something like that, you would really be in mud, moving through, coming up. It'd be really hard to kind of fight into. And again, looking at it in today's times, we don't have rice fields going through. It'd kind of like be fighting in your garden, so you wouldn't want to fight where you're growing your food, is one of the ideas that I have with it. So there's some that might disagree with it, but again, that's my take on it. So I'm not going to be fighting where I'm actually growing my food and into a flooded field. So I look at it very from the context of what am I doing? Am I crossing my feet, or I could be crossing my opponent's? Kata takes into consideration mapping on your arm and on your body what your opponent is doing. That's why they stood the test of time. It's like a personal map on how to take out the man. So if you look at the feet, if we're here and we're even, we're kind of even here, front to back. You can touch side to side. We're even. See, if we fight linear, I can push him, he can push me. However, if you look at it three-dimensionally, if I take and move my feet, now I can actually open up more for me. So if he comes to move, I can maneuver this direction, turn my body. If he goes to touch here, as I pivot on my feet, I cross. There's my cross stance. As we did earlier, I cross. Now look at his stance where he's at. If I'm here, I can actually come out, attack the legs from here. I can attack the legs that direction. Come this way. If I actually cross here, now I can set in movements that you have here coming up. So there's my maneuvers here. If I want to grapple the head, I could grapple the head and take the person out from that direction. If we're here straight up, okay, he's giving me grief, movements come up, seeing Nihanchi done this way. If he's up, give me grief, I just spin the body, now it crosses his feet. Again, one more time. So he's here. As soon as he goes to maneuver, I maneuver the feet here. I turn his body. So the turning side to side is actually his body turning. It could be I could turn and he could turn too. Now the violent comes in to where now here, that's where we went earlier on Nihanchi. Okay? It could be this. He's giving me grief to here. Now watch this. There's the actually strike coming through. Sorry. Catching through with this. If I go with this maneuver here, as I come in, I could palm the jaw. I could actually hook behind the jaw this direction to actually tip the jaw with the fist. This way, as I strike here. Doing that is going to be severely violent for him. So there's a couple different aspects you can take from the kata, moving side to side, crossing the feet, moving the feet coming through. So you can practice this in your school. How I teach my students is as I turn, I pivot on the balls and the heels. So as I come through, I slide. Feet can lock. If I do it this direction, okay? So I can maneuver here, across, different directions here. Take it out of any kata you want. Anywhere there's a cross feet, there's your cross stance. Okay, so some things that you can play with at your school. Try it. Let me know what you think.